Appreciate it. Okay, well, welcome again to our webinar today. And as Emily said, Deb will be joining us, and Tammy too. We had thought Deb might not make it, so we put Kurt on the slide, but Deb promised she will be coming, so she'll be on here just momentarily, I think. These are the things we're going to kind of talk about today. 1095-C reporting, a way to sum up sick and vacation with our PTO liability report, and then we'll talk briefly about the bottom two, importing new pay rates and a tool that lets you do a combined yearly maximum on the benefit and deduction side for HSAs or anything else where you want to have a combined part for benefit and deduction. So these are the tools we're going to talk about, and as Emily gave you a sneak peek, and maybe you already knew, but if you want the 1095 import tool, which includes the W-2 safety net, our promo this month is awesome. It's actually free, so just reach out to us if you want that. And the same for the PTO liability report. We're making both of those available free to any customers who would like them. The bottom two, the Payroll Import Plus and the Benefit Deduction Max Plus, are not free, but so those you would have to pay for if you want, but the other two are available free right now. So first, the 1095 importer. This one, you know, if you are part of one of those companies that needs to generate 1095s for non-employees, spouses, or dependents or employees, but you didn't track that information throughout the year, our 1095 importer tool makes it really easy to bring in that data you get from your provider into the 1095 tables in GP, and really streamlines that process for you. And we'll look at this in a moment. The next one that we're going to talk about is our PTO liability report. And this one it's done in Excel, and it's designed to work with the absence tracking in HR and payroll. And then you can see it all in Excel, and then you can copy paste that into GL to do entries there for the accrual entries that you need to do. Then we'll spend the bulk of our time on the 1095 and the PTO liability report, but we'll talk a little about two new payroll tools we have. Payroll Import Plus lets you export payroll data out of GP into Excel, and then you can manipulate it there and, you know, get the pay increases how you want them, and then easily bring them back into GP and update the pay code data for your employees. And then the last tool we'll talk about today is Benefit Deduction Max Plus, or BenDed Max Plus for short. And in our 2018 R2, GP added a feature that lets you have groups of benefits or groups of deductions, but it does not let you have both benefits and deductions together in the same group. And we had customers that said, hey, we really would like that, especially for HSAs. And so we created that functionality on top of the GP one. So just to clarify then, because of that, it's available only in 2018 R2 and forward. But it's really slick because it combines that, it looks at both your benefit and deduction for a total maximum. Okay, so with that, I'm going to get out of PowerPoint and get into GP here. So first, with the 1095 import, we provide a template with that, and it comes once you install the 1095 import tool, you would have the template in your documentation. Whoops, can you see my screen, Emily?
Sandy, seeing if you can share your screen again, please, and to
Did
any of
that
our
stop?
attendees. Yeah, and any of our attendees out there, just pop into the chat. Make sure that you can everybody see Sandy's screen? You can pop a little chat in there too, and just making sure that you can hear us okay. Thanks, Sandy.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let me move that to the side again. Okay, so anyway, the tool comes, or excuse me, the template for the 1095 tool comes as part of the install, and you'd find it in your documentation implementation specialists folder. And it's this 1095 import spreadsheet. And I opened that up here. And if you get a data from your provider, you would want to put it into this spreadsheet in, because we need it to import it. It has to be in our format with these columns. So, you bring all your data in, get it into this format, and make sure it's clean before you import it. So make sure you're not missing any employee ID numbers, any social security numbers. If you have social security numbers with a leading 0, make sure they're not missing. For example, like this one here. You want to make sure that you've got all 9 digits of your social security number. Make sure your date is in the right format, and that here in this relationship column, you've only got subscriber, spouse, or dependent. So, those kind of things. And once your data is all ready here in Excel, you just save this as a text delimited, tab text delimited file. Let's see. Let me get my words right here. If we come here, this text tab delimited file is the way you want to save that once it's ready. And then here in GP, you come in, and once the tool's installed under payroll utilities, you would see it here. And first, I'm actually going to take a step back before we do the 1095 import. One piece of the 1095 import tool is this W2 safety net. And this lets you create a backup of your W2 files. So we can go ahead and run that. It's super quick. All you need to do is pick your reporting year. Oh, and then also I should mention, before you do this or the 1095 import tool, you need to make sure that your year-end file has been created. Otherwise, you wouldn't see anything in the drop-downs in these windows. So anyway, you just pick the year that you're doing and hit process, and then it says that our W2 files are safeguarded, and that's as easy as that one is for the W2 side of things. And then I'm not going to show this, but we also have an import non-employees. So if you have non-employee records that you need to get in for 1095 importing, you can do that, and it really works the same way as the 1095 import, and we have a template for that as well, the non-employees one right here. So so you would do that first if you need to do that, and then move on to the 1095 import. And then remember, we saved that spreadsheet as a tab delimited text file. So you just have to come in here, grab that one, again, pick your reporting year, and then process. And it just takes, it's pretty quick, depending on how many employees you have in your file or in your company. And so mine is already done. And one thing I forgot to mention is that before you run that, you would want to back up your payroll tables, like your UPR 10109 and UPR 10111 for 2021. And then you could run that. So just if there's any problems, you've got that there. But if you do get any errors while running the 1095 import, you can rerun it And then once it's done, we can come in here to the print W-2 window, and then we can just here in this print section mark 1095C, and then we can print those, and I'll just print them to screen, and we'll look at them quick. And so there those are. We've got all of our 1095s there. So it makes it really easy with the 1095 import tool. And again, we're giving that tool away free, but if you want help with doing the import, we can help with that. There'd just be a charge on time for it. But we're happy to help you with this if you want help with it. Emily, are there any questions on the 1095 importer?
I'm not seeing any questions here, but just monitoring the box and the chat box from anybody. So again, don't be shy. And Sandy, you're doing a great job.
Okay, thank you. All right, well then we're going to move on next to the PTO Liability Report. And this one, again, helps with absence tracking and doing the accrual postings on the GL side. So a couple of things. In order to use the PTO Liability Report, you need to know the name of your SQL server. And then also you need to know the name of your company database in SQL. And if you have multiple companies and you want to do the PTO liability report for each one of them, you would need to have a copy of the report for each company database, because that's part of the setup, is picking that company database. So again, multiple companies, you just have multiple copies of the report. And again, this is one we are giving out for free right now. Another thing you need to do in order to use the report is all of your employees, I'll just grab one of them here, they need to have a primary pay code mark. So like here, Aaron is hourly, and we've got hour marked as his primary pay code. Or if it's somebody that's salaried, that's marked. So again, you need the primary pay code marked for each employee. And then one other thing is that,
Sandy, don't mean to interrupt. I know you told me I
yeah,
can, but it still seems unnatural
yeah.
to me. We do have a question. You can finish up and then let me know when you're ready for that
No,
question.
go for it. Let's hear it.
All right, thank you to our attendee for asking this too. We have a great question here. Can an electronic 1095C file be created in GP2 file?
An electronic 1095C. I don't know if Deb or Tammy have joined. I think we're going to have to wait on that question till
Hey,
later.
Deb and Tammy are here. Can anybody weigh
they
in
are.
on that? Yeah, weigh in on that if you'd like. Unmute you guys here.
And thanks, Deb and Tammy, for joining. They have worked with lots more customers on this than I have. I'm more on the BA side of things. So yeah, Deb and Tammy.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, sorry. I've been trying to get unmuted, but I'm not really good at unmute because I'm never muted. So great question on the 1095Cs and how to do an electronic. And I will tell you, even if we use the import tool to pull the 1095s in from your provider, right? We still need an electronic source, and we use green shades from that. And I don't want you guys to think, oh my gosh, and I got to do all this work in green shades. Green shades will pull your 1095s out of GP just like they do your W-2s. And then from there, you can create that electronic file. There is a price tag for that filing, right, from green shades, but it's still much easier. But if you are required to submit an electronic file for your 1095s, you want to make sure that we have like a green shades to do that for you. Okay, if you just need to print and file paper copies, you can do everything inside of GP. But if you need the electronic version, you want to use like a green shades to do that for you. Okay, we can definitely help get all that set up and get you in touch with the people at Green Shades. But they do besides our federal magnetic media files, they do all of our electronic filing. Okay. How's that, Sandy?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Deb. I appreciate
welcome.
it. Okay, any other questions, Emily?
Right now, none. But again, don't be shy, anybody. I'm monitoring that question box. Thank you, Deb, and thank you, Sandy.
Okay, cool. So again, we're just talking a little bit about the setup for the PTO liability report and making sure that the you've got a primary pay code marked for each employee. And then there's one other thing with department. I've got extra field. This is used by the report. So for each department, you'd want to do this, but that's outlined in the documentation. I won't dwell on that. So then the report itself, I've got several things open here in Excel. So again, you would have one of these for each company, and then here on the data tab, once you've done your setup, you would just come and hit refresh all, and then it's going to bring in all of that sick and vacation info from GP, and you would see it here on this employee sick and vacation tab. And you know, Deb or Tammy, feel free to chime in here anytime, and if you've got stuff to add here.
And so Sandy, it's Deb again. Thanks.
Yeah.
You know, this refreshable, guys, just so you know, it looks, you know, Sandy's showing you the setup, right? The mechanics of it. But once it's set up, and we definitely can help with that, you really, what you'll come into is this Excel file that's a link to that data source, right? So we want to secure it and all that kind of stuff. But what you're seeing here is that data sheet showing you all the employees, the pay rate from their primary pay code, right? And then whether you use the payroll, like the PTO, you use CLM, you use HR, attendance, no matter which one you use, we have versions for each. And what you're seeing is it is telling us the amount of the vacation and sick. So like if you go down to Sandy in Adam Barr, row 12, what you're seeing there is you okay? He's got some sick time available, right? And it knows his primary pay code rate is $16.10, right? And so it's calculating that $12.88 plus she is marked his department to be a department that goes back to the GL at 400-51-00. So it knows that for each person, right? It knows their pay rate, it knows how many are sitting in their bucket in D and E, and does the calculation. Then when she goes to her accounts on the bottom, now it is really ready to do a copy paste back to the general ledger. So no more trying to figure out, okay, I'm going to take that posting journal from GP, you know, the one, the vacation sick time accruals, which, you know, we all know has a thing, right? Or a couple things, and try to calculate out what really should be my overall liability. And people struggle with this, and really they end up doing it as infrequent as apps, you know what I mean? They'll do it once a year if they can get by with it. Once we started turning this on for companies, they now do this monthly, or some even after every payroll, because it is so easy to do. They refresh it. So basically they open it up, it comes in with refresh data. Then they go ahead, or yep, Sandy's showing you your refresh all there at the top.
Yeah.
Then they go in and they copy paste. Really, Sandy, I'm going to do it wrong, so yell at me here.
Yeah.
The little section. Yep.
Yeah. So this would be for your vacation, and you've got another one over here for sick time, or if you just do PTO, you'd have one. But yeah, we can copy that, and you'd have better data than I do here with my my test data. But yeah, then we can bring that in and do a GL entry for it. So
we added
go ahead, Deb.
Yep, thanks, Sandy. We added this one into our year-end set just because we know so many of you right now are struggling trying to get that PTO liability calculation. What do we have? What, you know, you want to safeguard this. If you're preparing this once a year or at this point for the audit team, you really want to make sure you safeguard that Excel sheet, get some snaps of it, and, you know, go ahead, paste it back. It's one of my favorite things because PTO vacation liability is such a hard thing for people, but it doesn't have to be, right? We did two super easy things. right? We added that department code to the extra field in the department setup to give us the GL. And I've seen companies do a lot of really magical things with that. That's just, basic out of the box for this. The other thing is marking primary pay code. And I'm going to tell you, once you start marking that primary pay code and you start to see all the places you can use primary pay code, I could spend an entire day, Sandy, right, on primary pay code.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to, because Sandy's going to yell at me because she's like, once you come on, I go way over time. Sandy posted this one right in, and now she is set, right? This guy is in, she's posted in her liability. She could set it up for a reversing, so it reverses out automatically as well at the beginning of the next month. So when she's ready to post it in again, she's got a clean slate to post it in at again, guys, okay?
Yeah, and again, it'd be just the same thing on the sick time.
Perfect.
So we've got columns for that too. So yeah, super easy to use.
Okay, Sandy, great
Just
job
a
on
little
that.
setup. Yeah. Okay. So Emily, any questions from anybody on the PTO liability report?
No new questions yet, Sandy. Thanks for asking.
Sure. Okay. Well, then we've got, not too many minutes left, but we'll talk a little bit about our two new payroll tools that we're really excited about. The first one is the Payroll Import Plus, which I mentioned already. And I think I opened the window. So this is our export window. And so by default, everything is set to all. So if I did all, I'd just get records for all the employees marked, or just to make it quicker here, I think I'll just do a range, and we'll pick just one department. And then you can, when we do the import, we have the option to do all pay codes, or to just have things rolled down. So like, I think I'm gonna just do a few here. So let's do hourly and salary, and anything that is based on those, we'll roll it down. Okay.
So Sandy, if they had a lot of hourly code set up when they initially set it up and just didn't realize there wasn't an additional roll down for those additional hourlies, right? Where you have to go in and update like 27 codes to get your pay codes updated. This tool really does a nice job there, because
it does. Yep.
Tell it. Yes. Oh, we're so excited about this one, Sandy, aren't we? Every time we get to talk
we
about
are.
It,
Yeah. Yeah, because like double time, overtime, all those that are based, like Deb said, on another, we can have it rolled on automatically, so we don't have to update so many things manually. So I'm just going to export these to Excel, and then it'll let me know that it's done. And then the Excel opens for me with the employees. I just did that one department, and then we scroll over here, and we've got their current pay amount, and right now it just has the same value here. We could manually update this, or we could just do a formula like equals M2 times, I'll give everybody a 5% raise, and then I'll just do that for the rest. So that's as easy as it is, and then once you have those values set for the new amount, you can just save this, and then we can import it. Let's see.
So another great place to keep audit information, right? So we're keeping, here's what we gave for people there, here's their increases, right? If you're not using that payroll audit tool too, guys, put that one on your list to check in with us about, because that's the one that also will track like who did this type of change, right? On the payroll tables, the HR tables. So if somebody is, if you're having issues with vacation, PTO, different benefits getting changed, and like, how is this happening? What's causing these things to change? That is really a good one. It's not one of our tools, it's one of the Pistol tools. Absolutely no charge to that one as well. But I know with pay rates, right, Sandy, it's always sensitive, and we like to keep that document, that Excel sheet up. Hey, here was my intended change, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay, so here I am in the import window, and I brought in that spreadsheet we just saved. And then this is what Deb and I talked about, where if you want to roll down changes or not, and we do want to roll down the changes. And another nice thing is if you've got multiple tabs, multiple sheets on your spreadsheet, it'll bring them all in. You know, maybe you had one per department. You can, if there's only one, it's marked by default. If you've got multiple, you can mark which ones you want to bring in. So then we can import from Excel. It tells us that's done. If there's any issues, we'd see it here. If we want to make any changes, everything here is locked down except the new rate. If we wanted to, we can change it here. But then when we're done and we want to update the compensation data, we just have to do update pay records. Oh, I think I need a change reason.
Yep. Yeah, we want to get those HR fields updated too.
Yes.
Because everybody's like, oh, Deb, I could do this so fast with Smart Connect. I did this so fast with Integration Manager. Okay, so guys, I'm going to tell you why I made this. Okay, well, why I had all the super smart people with Sandy's team make this. Because this is a stressful time of year for you to get all of this stuff done, right, Sandy?
Yeah.
Every company is either struggling with certain types of changes, and if we can make this change easier, more power to it. So my vision was to be able to get it so you could see it. You could see it, you can touch it. If somebody says, nope, we decided to go up a little higher, we decided to go down a little bit lower, maybe one guy, two guy, you could quick and easy fix. But at the same time, you're seeing it right now. When Sandy says go, those records are updated in what? Seconds, Sandy, right?
Yep. Yep. And I guess we should have looked at it first, but you can see, so, you know, like for Pilar here, her old rate was 22,500, new rate, because we gave her a 5% raise, is 23,625. So we see that now here. It updated it for salary, but then it also updated it for, let's see.
Any of your roll downs, right?
Oh, whoops, I'm scrolling through records instead of pay codes. Let me get back to her. There we go. So yeah, so holiday got updated, vacation got updated. So yeah, since it did that roll down, it updated those as well.
And those of you that on the HR side, right, Sandy, are getting it in the additional underneath the comp history. These are all updating the HR tables as well, guys, which our HR people super excited, because a lot of times if we're doing things through SQL, sometimes our HR people are saying, hey, you forgot me, right? We want to make sure everybody's happy with this tool overall. It's one of my new favorites, because I can see people being able to take this and say, okay, I can get these comp changes done in record time. You can.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, Sandy, she's doing one more fast here.
Yeah, really fast, because I know we're at time. But this one we're also excited about. And again, the GP feature lets you do groups of benefits or groups of deductions, but you can't have them together in the same group. And for things like HSAs, our customers really wanted that ability, so we created this tool. And as you can see here, and it's not just for HSAs, you can use it for anything where you want a benefit and deduction together in the same group, but that's what I'm showing here is HSA. So the individual limit for 2022 is $3,650, and I've got my HSA deduction in there and my HSA benefit. So if my employer is kicking in, let's say $50 a paycheck for a total of $1,200 a year on the benefit side, and I'm kicking in, you know, maybe I set it to 120 a pay period, I'm going to go over that max. And so when you just calculate payroll normally, you know, do your pay runs normally, but when you're calculating a check and you get to somebody that hits that max, it looks at all that GP logic on, you know, is it a tax sheltered annuity, is it a benefit or deduction, and all that's outlined really well in the GP help. So we use that logic, and then you know, once you hit that max, you'd only get a partial deduction or benefit.
It's going to take the benefit side at the last, right? It's going to take the benefit side, the majority of the benefit side. So whatever's remaining would hit the deduction, right, guys? So we always want the benefit to go to the employee. Get it? Benefit, go to the employee. Sandy, I'm so funny today.
You are. So that was a super quick look at this one. And again, the Pay Import Plus and Benefit Deduction Max Plus, those are not free, but the 1095 Importer and the PTO Liability Report are free now. So reach out to us for those tools, for help with using them. Yeah.
All things year-end for sure, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did get another update too, Sandy, on tax tables. So guys, they've been kind of waiting for the federal tax tables to release. Social Security wage limit is out, or is going to be out soon. The actual official number is out. I know you guys are all excited. No, it did not go down. Okay, I'm just going to tell it to you. But the tax tables, I think Terry was either releasing them either today or towards the end of the week. So just know that's your Social Security wage limit. So if you're still running payrolls this year, don't take any tax tables, okay? Because you don't want to have all those high earners all of a sudden get an additional Social Security tax when they may have stopped, okay? The rest of the federal tax tables, I'm sure she'll be releasing as they release. They just have not released yet. And so we'll probably see some quick updates in Q1 of 2022. Okay, so that's what I know so far, Sandy. Great job. Great job.
Yeah, thank you, Deb. Sure appreciate your help. Any last questions, Emily?
I don't see any questions, so here's that last call. If anybody has any questions, feel free to type it in the chat or the question box, and I'll monitor here for a few more seconds. But thank you again to Deb and Sandy especially. We really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and then I just was going to put up our info here on how you can reach out.
I love that. Thank you, Sandy, for doing that. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the attendees today for being here, and hoping that you receive some awesome information, and wanted to give one last shout out saying happy holidays to everyone.
Thanks, guys, so much. Have a great holiday. Thanks, Emily. Great job.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. No questions. Thanks.